Health Education Lecture Series. All the listeners of Health Education Lecture Series, I am your host, Gurdeep Singh Sandhu, homeopathic consultant. I am here to deliver another lecture of Health Education Lecture Series. My clinic address is 9701 Sarah and Court, Dublin, California 94568. And phone number 408-687-1899. Anytime when you are tired of any treatment for any disease at any age, and if you want to get a second opinion about your disease and also about the progress of your treatment, you can call me 408-687-1899. I will appreciate your call. And I will give you my best opinion, whatever medical science knows till date, and also naturally based on the natural principles, how the medicine nature was curing the diseases before the medical science exists in our life. So in this way, systematically, first of all, we are discussing about this body. That's how this body was formed, how this life was started, and after that, the formation of a complete body, which we assume at an age of adult. Though still there are many more things I have described in my previous lectures, still there are many more things which happens even after a person approaches to the adult age. Adult age is when the secondary sexual characters develop and when arises, you can say, and when they are fully developed at the age of about 20 years of age, 21 years of age, when all the sexual characters are fully developed, means now the nature has certified this person, male or female, that yes, you are eligible to recreate the life. Basically, what's the purpose of our life? Whatever you are doing, whatever everybody is doing here, making wealth, making businesses, making buildings, and all that one, that remains here. Whatever you are preparing here remains here. But what cannot be taken out from you is your procreation, is your next generation that you have to produce. So basically, the purpose of our life is to reproduce so that life should continue. Life should continue. If we forget that nature's normal rule for us, normal directions for us, then I think it's useless. Whatever you do, and you go from this world, remains here, and you have nothing to do that with. But on the contrary, you remember the life on this earth was created millions years back, and still, since million years of back, at that time we were not having any specific identification that we can recognize that who was my forefather. And now, as the development of this DNA, we are able to recognize that we are having our forefathers, millions generations back. Someone was our forefathers, and his DNA is still existing in this world, and he is still surviving. Many times, uh, I have recommended, I have suggested, basically not recommended. Recommendation is the authority. I'm not the authority. But as a general man, I can just suggest that when you go to, after the cremation of any person, he died, and after the cremation of his persons, we go to the Gurdwara, Sikh temple, Mandir, this and that. And over there, they say, okay, this is the Antam Ardas. This is the final prayer for him. And I think this is not good. Final prayer of that body may be. This body has gone now. This body will not come up. But the person which was existing inside this body, his DNA is existing in his children's, in his kids. And that is going on generation to generations. And this is the main thing, that they are still surviving. Even after millions of years back, they were our forefathers, and we are the proof of that one. As far as possible, we are now able to prove this thing. We can prove that there were some of us are having forefathers, and we can recognize them. How? There is migration from every core of the earth is going to the other cores of the earth, from one corner, from the other corners, to the other corner, from the other corners to the other corners. Migration was going on since we remember, since the history of the human beings. We know the human beings were moving from one place to the other for the better future, for the better food, for the better livings, and all these things, livable conditions, and they were moving from that one. Icy cold areas, they were moving to the normal areas. From the extreme sun rays, they are moving to the other areas. In this way, we were moving, and even food conditions for this betterment, food, for the betterment of life, they were moving time to time, and less. This is not a period that, okay, we fly from India, and after 24 hours, or even 16 hours, we are reaching here in the USA. No, that migration at that time was taking millions years, thousands of years, you can say. And within this 1,000 years, they were dying as well. They were dying in the way when they were traveling, moving from one place to the others. We remember in India that we study the history of the Aryans, and history of the Aryans, from where the Aryans came off. And then what were their, you can say, the stagnations, where they stay, from where they move, and ultimately they reach to the India, that the Sindhu Kati. They reach to the Sindhu Kati. This is what one example I can give you, which I remember that one. But now the scientists who are finding out that yes, some of our forefathers are still surviving in us because of their DNA, and they came from what portion, what side of the earth, from where they started moving, and all that has been deducted from the bone marrow, from the DNA they had generated from the remainings of those dead bodies which were dying time to time. And it proves that the persons of the West were moving to the other places, and in between they spent thousands of years. Ultimately, they died. Ultimately, wherever their generations are living, and if we match their DNA, it matches to those people who were started traveling from the west, or from the east, or from the north, or from other countries. Just like we may move from the India. Our parents moved from Pakistan. And we born in India, and after that, if we deduct our DNA, the traveling of our DNA, or passages of our DNA, route of our DNA, it go to the Pakistan, and it indicates, it proves that yes, our elders came from the Pakistan area, which is now Pakistan, but at that time it was in Indian territory. So ultimately, ultimately we came here in USA, and then again we have second generation, we have third generations, and ultimately I can give you one example. My grandson, he go and check his DNA from where my DNA has traveled, where he has the roots of my DNA. Ultimately, the roots told him that your roots, your DNA is also found in India at the present situations, and also your roots are matching with some of the peoples who are in the Kashmir sides. And definitely, when I found out that my daughter-in-law, their forefathers, their parents, as far as she knows about them, they were from Kashmir. They were from that areas. And as far as our is concerned, and that's why it shows that part of your DNA has traveled from Pakistan. So this is a short example I'm giving you. So means this remains here. My grandparents, their grandparents, they were living in that area which is now Pakistan. They were living over there, and still there is a DNA over there of our nature, of our style. And in this way we are having, and now we are in USA. It means our DNA is traveling, and it shows that we are surviving even after our death. Even we will not be existing in this world, our DNA will prevail, and it will indicate, it will shown up in my next generations, and ultimately if they recognize, if they start finding out their DNA, from where my DNA is traveling, then they will find out, oh, long back my grandfather was traveled from India to here, and ultimately his generation developed, and I'm the kin of that one. So in this way, the main purpose, religious peoples, they are saying that no, our purpose is to remember the God. Our purpose is this and that. The God exists in us. God is not separate from us. That power exists in every cell. Okay, God exists everywhere. That God is energy. That God is in us, a physical existence. Okay, so that remains over there. To remember God is nothing. Okay, but we have to survive according to the society we are living in. And if you are fulfilling your duties, your responsibilities towards parents, towards kids, means whatever is your circumstances, and you feel that this is your responsibility as a normal human being, and you fulfill those duties, you are working according to the will of the God. This is will of the God, nothing else. It's not that you take this mala and continue doing something. No, this is foolishness, basically. This is making, just like nowadays, the hypnotism, a style of hypnotism. People are hypnotized, and they are bound to concentrate their concentration on one point, and ultimately they are doing this one. They are reaching nothing. And suppose if we are circling, if we are moving in a circle, we will reach nowhere. The same thing, doing anything in circle, in a repetition, continuously, you will not get anything. You will not just, you will focus your concentrations. Your focus concentration only in one point, and it will not result in anything. Yes, your concentration may develop. Your concentration, focusing may develop in this one because you have practiced that one. But where where the question is concerned what we are for here, for what we are here, that is to take care of the responsibilities. And the responsibility of someone is to take care of his parents, to take care of his kids, and all that. And if we are doing all this thing, we are doing the work according to the God's will. That is God's will. If you ignore your responsibilities towards your parents, towards your kids, then you're not a good man. You are not obeying the nature. You're not obeying the God as well. So therefore, so I was discussing about all these things, the DNA about that one. But nowadays the scientists are recovering from different area of this world, different area of this earth, and tracing out the DNAs of the remainings of those bodies which died years back, thousands years back, and they are matching that their DNA, a specific type of antigen that DNA is having, which is not matching with the others, many more. So, in this way, they are matching that DNA with the living persons all around the world and trace it out, find it out that that DNA has traveled from that area to this area to this area to this area. Parents came from Pakistan, in India, and I'm from India to I moved to America, and may not be that ultimately in coming years my grandkids or my next generation may be from other countries, and they marry to any girls which belongs to any country. So it does, but it means that their DNA will go broader. And now we are proving that those people were traveling for the better life, for the better food, but for the better living conditions from one area of the earth to the other areas of the earth. And ultimately, it was a time period of years, thousands of years. And ultimately, the life of the person is about 100 years, and they were dying. And wherever they were dying, their remainings are still there. And if we find out those remainings from the caves, from other utensils and all these, and we find that our DNA is scattered all over the world. And what side it is mostly scattered, we are now tracing it out. So the purpose of our life is to understand ourselves, to understand our responsibility. The basic to understand ourselves. I'm I'm doing my own job. This is my job. This is my duty. But I think that this is my liability, because I know all these things, to convey this message to the public that this body has been formed, how it was formed, how the life came in existence in this body, and ultimately how this DNA was matching, and ultimately how this new creation, a life came into existence, and ultimately go on. This is the main purpose, that we survives after death. This is the main function of our duty, you can say, that after death we still survives because our DNA is surviving. Then I was thinking that the prayers, the last prayers which we were saying, yes, we should prayer the last rituals for this body, not for the human beings. The human beings is still alive in their kids. His DNA is surviving, so he has not gone anywhere. Yes, physical existence is not there. Physically, he is not there, just like God. It's not in physical existence. That's a power, that's a principle, that's a principle, and that power exists. Ghat ghat mein harju base. And what is that which exists? That exists the power. In every cell, for every types, that power exists. And the life exists in this world in four categories. Andaj, Jeraj, Setaj, Utpaj, just like the Gurbani says, four types of life is existing in this world, and if some of them are reproduced by the eggs, some of them are reproduced by the semen, and some of them are reproduced by the seeds, just like the plants and all that, and some of them are reproduced by automatic process, just like the stones and all that one. Mountains, you can say in a large scale, but the stone ultimately, the ultimately is the stone, we can say the smallest quantity, but after that, the smallest quantity when subdivided, ultimately it reaches to the energy, and that energy is equivalent and similar to that the energy produced by the egg. And those who are birthed by the egg, or who are birthed by the semen, and they have that energy is similar to that of the plants, that energy is similar to that of the stones as well. So this is what the Gurbani said, that the life exists in this world in four forms. Means this is what? It's also a form of DNA. It's also a form of DNA. And as far as we are able to detect that one, we are able to identify, individualize the persons, and from their generation to generations, their forefathers to forefathers, that his forefather maybe, we do not know about that one, or his forefather may be, sometimes he was living in Burma, sometimes he may be living in some other countries, and they were traveling time to time, and if the history goes on and we find out the history, then it will state that the migration came from Mexico. Ultimately they passed the English Channel, and ultimately they gone to the eastern countries, and ultimately they reach to the Sidhu Kati and all that. They are known as the Aryans. And even nowadays, if you see, most of the constitutions, structures we see in Mexican peoples, they are similar to us. Some of them, they are similar to us. What does it mean? It means that at some time, maybe from India they migrated to Mexico, maybe from Mexico they migrated to India side and all that one. And same way, not only from Mexico to India, all around the globe. All around the globe this happens. That is why is that the DNA has scattered all over, and now the scientists are following these traces which were unknown to us, from where peoples migrated to what side, from where people migrated from what side to what side. All these things, it makes an history. It makes a history of the human beings. In this archaeology and all, people, the peoples are there doing all these things, and finding out the traces of our forefathers, and the generation at that time, and the civilization at that time. What was it? We are finding out, and the archaeology is giving us the answer about those things by finding these things from the earth. And in this way, I will always recommend that our most foremost duty is to fulfill our duties, liabilities. And if we are doing that, well, that is God's will. That's God's will is not separate than that. If you're not doing your responsibility, if you're not fulfilling your duties, your responsibilities, to to save your DNA, to safeguard your DNA, to serve your DNA, it means you are not fulfilling the demands of the God, desire of the God. So therefore, it is that you should obey nature's or God's will, and your responsibility, of every person's responsibility, is to serve for their parents, and also your duties towards your next kids, because you will survive later on. You are surviving because of your forefathers, your grandparents, and you will survive because of your kids. Your kid will prove that at one time you exist in this world, and we prove that our forefathers were sometimes living in this world, and we are existing, and this chain goes back to thousands of millions of years back. But my small duty is to just describe this body. This body contains blood. This blood contains DNA, and that DNA prevails in each and every cell of our body. And the structure formed by that DNA individual, I'm describing that. I'm telling you about that one, how the structures are formed, how the features are formed, how we can look like our elders, and how our next generation will look like us. Though there may be now at this time, you can say, first of all, there was a ban on intercaste marriages. Now the intercaste marriages has left behind. After that, the marriages came in existence from state to state. Then now the marriages are coming international type, and ultimately a globe will mixed up with each other, and the DNA automatically will mix it up. And for each individual case, he will be having a different traveling route of his DNA. Every individual will have a different route of traveling of his DNA. Siblings may be having the same, but ultimately, if they are not siblings, there may be a change in the DNA, and ultimately their kids also will have a different DNA, depending upon the intercostal marriages, international marriages, and all that one. They are changing the pattern of the DNA. So let's come to the today's lecture. After describing about the head, when this body is formed, adulthood, we came back. We came to the minimum Stockholm, minimum the quality of or stone of this body. That was the cell. We described about the cells, and after that, we described how this whole body was formed. And I'm describing previously. I've just already described about the head, how the head was formed, what the structure of the head, what is inside that, and how they work, what they work, how it affects our body and life. All that one has been discussed. After that, we came to the a connection between the head and the body. That was the neck, and describe about the neck. And there are some organs inside the neck and how they work, what they work, what they resulted out, what is their usefulness. And after that, we reach to the area of the trunk, that is known as trunk. The trunk is from shoulder, from neck, bottom of the neck, you can say, from the bottom of the neck up to the hip, the whole area, because where the legs are apart, the whole total area is known as trunk. And this trunk is divided into two main portions. One is known as chest. We have already described of that one. Okay, how the chest is formed, a bony structure, a bony cage has been formed. Then, what are the organs living inside this bony cage? Everything I have described to you, and what are the main important diseases in the chest areas of these organs, which everybody knows about that one. There are many more other diseases I will describe later on, but most important diseases which everybody knows about that, and I give the description of those things, how they happen, and what are the signs and symptoms. But later on, I will describe detail of all these diseases in my next phase of these lectures. So ultimately, We describe all the organs inside the chest, dividing the chest area inside in three parts. Two parts are covered right side and left side by the lungs, and middle portion is covered by the media, that's known as mediastinum. And mediastinum was a common pathway from structures passing from head to downward, and the structure passing from downward to upward goes to the head. All these things are passing through this common pathway, and this common pathway was very much important because it has an important organ itself, that is the heart. And I described the functioning of the heart and structure of the heart, how it works when it was in the mother's womb, and how it works when it comes out from the mother's womb. So all these things I have described, I think, many months since I'm describing all these things. But now, yesterday it was my last lecture, sarcoidosis. And sarcoidosis, after describing all about that one, because that can happen in any organs of the body, is weakness or inorganization of our immune system. In organization, it is existing, it is in power, but in organization of our immune system produces this sarcoidosis type of things. And it may happen in any organs, not only in the chest area, but even then in the chest area, what are the organs, what are affected, and how we can see them even beyond, above that, this chest area, in the eyes, in the brain, all that, all these things can happen, and what will be the sign and symptoms, or we have described all those things in my last lectures. And today we are entering into the second part of the trunk. The first part of the trunk is known as chest, and the limit of the chest area is up to the diaphragm, or in the circumference of the ribs, sternum in front, vertebral column in the back side. And there is a membrane partition. Membranous partition is known as diaphragm. So chest, bottom of the chest is covered by a membrane. It's not hard and fast big wall. No, it's a membranous wall that is known as diaphragm. And from the diaphragm area, which is at the level of base of 11th thoracic vertebra in the back side, and at the level of 7th rib. So all this area, there, this is a concern. Underneath area is known as abdomen. And abdomen is also a big area. You can say the biggest organelle area. Biggest organelle area, because head has important organs, no doubt. There are many more organs. Chest has important organs, but they are having a limited scope of limited number of organs, whereas abdomen itself has a large majority of organs, means the main functioning, different type of functioning is running in this whole machinery, in this whole factory. You could say the abdomen is a big factory in which there are different departments, and they are creating different type of things, they are maintaining different type of functions inside the body. So big area is known as abdomen. And to your great surprise, this abdomen itself has been divided by two portions. Just like chest and abdomen, everybody can recognize, oh, the bony structure above and soft area downward, they are separated. Bony is known as the chest area, soft structure, muscular structure is known as abdomen area. Very easy. But to recognize the two other portion, this abdomen is divided into, that is not outwardly recognized. Outwardly you cannot see that this abdomen has two portions, but it has two portions which are internal division. It's not outwardly division, which you can see like chest. It is internal division. And the internal divisions, I can tell you that there are different organs in both the sections. The lower portion is known as pelvic area. The upper portion is known as abdomen proper. And there are many more organs inside the abdomen proper. You can say the maximum organs. But there are a separate type of section of the organs which is located inside the pelvic area, and that they are also supported by the bony structures. Just like if anything is more important for us, we keep them into safe. We try to safeguard their those substances, our gold ornaments, currency, and all that. We keep in a safe side. The same way, the important organs are saved in the skull. The important organs in the chest are saved in this cage. And though the most important organs are for this life functioning in the abdomen, but they are located mostly in the back side or under the shelter of the ribs, but not part of the chest. They are the part of the abdomen, just like the spleen, just like the liver. They are part of the abdomen, but they are separated from the chest because of that diaphragm. That's diaphragm, a membranous wall between the chest and the abdomen is there. And the same way I'm telling you, underneath the diaphragm, it looks like the whole is abdomen. Whatever we can see, when the legs are apart, everything is abdomen. From outward visible is abdomen, but no doubt. And internally, it is divided into two portions. The big upper portion is divided by, because all the organs are covered in a covering and double membrane covering that is known as peritoneum. And in the pelvic area, the important organs of procreations, recreations, you can say the just like the prostate of the man, of this uterus in the females, ovaries, and all that, they are enclosed in the pelvic area for the safety that they are to procreate. In this way, they are covered by internally a membrane that is known as the lesser sac of peritoneum. The upper one is known as the greater sac of peritoneum, and the lower one is known as lesser sac of the peritoneum. And both of the sacs are internal, whereas the externally this abdomen is bounded by muscular layers. Muscular layers, and there are three types of layers. Outward abdomen is structured by three type of layers. That is oblique muscles. You know, vertical, transverse. You know that, but oblique goes just like a curve type. So those oblique muscles are of two type of fibers. It has two type of fibers. One are external oblique muscles, external abdominal oblique muscles, and internal oblique abdominal muscles. So these are the two types of these type of muscles, and they run to make this abdomen compact, because there may be gas formation, there may be anything happen, and abdomen has to enlarge, just like during the pregnancy, you can see, just like during the other different diseases like hydramnios and all that one, ovarian cyst and many other things. The abdomen has to enlarge in the big, so it should not burst out. To protect those things, nature has structured it by different type of muscles, just like I told you the oblique muscles. So oblique muscles have two type of fibers, external and internal. Then after that, the second muscle is the transverse muscle. which goes from right side to left side, from right side, left side to right side, like that one. And all the muscles are backside binded with the vertebral column. So backside is a bone, backside is structure, bony structure. So they run from right side or from left side across, and they cover this whole abdomen in this way. And the third type of muscles, you can say, which runs from upward to downward, that is known as rectus abdominis muscle. Rectus abdominis. So very easy. First of all, underneath is the oblique muscles, going from just curved, going from right side to left side, from left side to right side. Their fibers are going, and they are external and internal. After that, they are overlapped by the transverse muscles from left to right directly, not curved. Directly they are reaching to that one. Just like you have sword, it's curved. And in this way, the abdomen is compact binded by these muscles: oblique, external, oblique, internal, and the transverse. They all are in the back side united or binded with the vertebral column. And and after that, there is one other muscle fibers. Basically, fibers are the ropes, you can see. Ropes, just like you're binding the things with the ropes. And ropes starts from the lower ribs in front, low ribs in front, and goes downward up to the inguinal ligament. Inguinal ligament is where you put your belt. When you for the pant, you put your belt. Where the belt is there, underneath that is the inguinal ligament from right side and left side. Both ligaments, they are united with the bone where there is a buckle of your pant, that is known as symphysis pubis. And those inguinal ligaments are from that symphysis pubis bone, and also to backside the anterior superior iliac spine. This the highest bone in the hip bone in the abdomen. If you see that one, that is known as the iliac crest, ilia bone. The name of the bone is ilia. And above the ilia, just like Himalaya Parbat, Himalayas, you see that. And the upper area is the tail, just like you can say in many animals, they just like the upper tail, that is known as the crest, the iliac crest. Okay. And there is still one tuberosity, one more compact area, more bounded prominent area, object, prominent area, you can say, bulged out area, that is known as tuberosity of the ilium. And that with from tuberosity of ilium goes to the symphysis pubis. On both sides there are ligaments, a type of rope, you can say, that is known as inguinal ligament. And I'm talking about the rectus muscle. This rectus muscle, upward it is bonded with the ribs, and downward, just in front of that one, the downward, it is attached to the inguinal ligament. And in between, in the center of the abdomen, there is the umbilicus. You know that one. The umbilicus is an area when all the muscles are taking their route from right to left, oblique or straight, from upward to downward. But still, there is one area which remains a gap. There is a gap in between the abdomen, and that is known as umbilicus. And that's the area when the child was in the mother's womb. At that time, the mother was supplying food, oxygen, and everything to the child through this route. And when the child is born, we cut it. We separate it from the mothers. And ultimately, similar type of structure is inside that one, under the abdominal wall. under the abdominal wall, nature has already set up before the birth of the child, already set up this channel, that whatever is supplied by the mother to the child through this umbilical cord should be supplied by the other route from inside the abdominal wall. So this is what the structure at that time. But that structure is spared from all these musculatures, for all these fibers. And then under this condition, it is a type of empty space, hollow space, you can say. It's a hollow space in the center of the abdomen. And if that center shifts to this and that way, and you know, I will tell you later, but even then, because we are at the point, I have to tell you that major blood vessels from heart to supply blood to the lower area or the abdomen passes alongside the vertebral column in the back side, inside the abdomen, but in the back side the vertebral column is there. And when they pass from the center of the abdomen, that area is just underneath of this empty area. And when something goes wrong, the intestinal coils are overlapping that area, then sometimes the palpitation we do not feel. Normally, we can feel the palpitation of those, and that palpitation is synchronous with the heartbeat. That palpitation is synchronous with the pulse rates. But if something happens, jerking or anything, or weakness of the intestinal coils and all that one, the coils are shifting their place, and under those conditions, that palpitation we cannot feel in the center here. When we try to examine this thing, and with the palpation we see no, there is no, but you can see right, left, up and down somewhere else, that palpitation we see, and it indicates that the intestinal coils from that area has been shifted to this area, the central area, and it's a painful condition. And in Indian Pendu areas, villages areas, it's known as tarn. Basically, tarn is nothing. It is the palpitation of those descending abdominal aorta. Palpation of the descending abdominal aorta, which is felt from this one umbilical area, is a vacant area. But if the intestinal coils are covering this area, then that palpitation is felt somewhere else, which is empty, because the coils from that area has shifted to this area due to some reasons, due to some problems. So that's why the people say, oh, the turn is on the right side, turn is on the left side, it's upward, it's a downward, whatever they say. But actually the condition, the anatomical structural position inside is that the intestines are moved from one place to the other, and they are covering the umbilical area. That is why we cannot feel own palpation in the umbilical area, the palpation of the descending abdominal aorta, descending, going down, abdominal, abdomen, aorta, that main blood vessel which issues from the ventricle, left ventricle of the heart, and supplies blood to the whole area. That is passing through that. And just like pulse we can feel in our wrist, the same way we can feel that palpitation, which is synchronous, similar to the heartbeat. But if it is not visible over there, if it's not palpated over there, we cannot realize by our palpation over there, then it is something that intestines are moved from some area to the different areas. So in this way, so I was talking about the muscles of the abdomen, and the muscles of the abdomens are, these are basically the three type of layers of muscles, out of which the oblique muscles are two types of fibers, external and internal, and transverse fibers. These are three types of things, plus external sheath, that is rectus sheath. Rectus sheath, That rectus muscle fiber starts from the lower ribs, goes to the inguinal area. And inguinal area is also the superficial bottom area of the pelvic area, or the lower area, lower bottom area of the abdomen, large portion of the abdomen. The big portion of the abdomen remains above that one. And internally, if we open the abdomen, if we see that, we see, after separating the walls of the muscles, there is a, you can say, envelope. There is a type of envelopes, and these are two envelopes united with each other with a similar type of structures. Big one, the upper one, is known as this greater sac of omentum. Sorry, peritoneum, not omentum. I will come to the omentum later. It will come up peritoneal. So peritoneal sac, the bigger one, which contains liver, which contains spleen, which contains kidney, which contains coils of the intestine, large intestine, small intestine, all that one, they are covered under the this peritoneal sac. That's a greater sac. Greater means bigger one. And underneath, all the pelvic areas, female genital organs, prostate in case of the male, inguinal canal on both ways. All these things are living inside the pelvic area, and nature is safeguarding the interest of these areas because they are related to our recreation, reproduction of life from life. So that is why they are specially protected by the nature, by the bony structure of the bone, hip bone. And there are three different bones. I will come to this thing. I do not want to complicate it. So I'm describing about the abdomen. So first thing I told you, the boundaries. Upper boundary is diaphragm. Lower boundary is up to the pelvic brim. That is known as pelvic brim. Or up to the pelvic brim is the abdominal area. But this abdominal area is internally divided into two portions by the peritoneal coverings. And bigger peritoneal cover is the greater sac of peritoneum, the lesser sac of the peritoneums. They are having different organs, and their structurally, they are the same. And then I give you the structure of the muscles, how this abdomen is bounded by, so that it should not burst easily. Even during pregnancy, abdomen is enlarged big, but even then they are having a resistance to dilate and not to rupture. And in this way, even sometimes the ovarian cyst, sometimes the internal cystic type of development inside the abdomen, and gas formations, and many other things can happen, that the abdomen is enlarged more than that one, and that can burst out. But to protect from bursting, nature make a special type of structures to bind the abdomens. So the oblique external muscles and oblique internal muscles, and after that transverse muscles, they are covering this thing. And after that, to to safeguard, to protect all these muscles, a sheath of membranes, muscles, goes from the ribs to downward up to the inguinal area where we put the belt, just in front, but it is also separating. It's also leaving a vacant space at the umbilicus. On both sides of the umbilicus, the sheet goes downward so that this abdomen is protected. It should not burst out. So in this way, this is what I told you about the boundaries of the abdomen, and also the muscles which are bounding this one. Upper boundary, the superior boundary is diaphragm. Lower boundary is the pelvic brim. Muscle wise, I also told you, but if we have to divide it, if you have to learn this abdomen, then we can divide it to four quadrants, four sections. If we cut imaginary lines, from the xiphoid process, where you see the ribs are separated. Ribs are separated and there are no more ribs. From that point up to the center of the pubic bone, which is some in front of this one, up to the pubic bone, and then from right to left, passing through the umbilical on both sides. If we draw these two imaginary lines, it it divides the abdomen into four different quadrants. And in these four different quadrants, there are different organs living inside the abdomen. And these quadrants are known as right and left upper from the umbilicus, right and left, and right and left lower from the umbilicus. So these are four important main sections of the abdomen we can divide, and we can easily understand that what are the organs are in right upper quadrant, what are the organs in left upper quadrant, what are the organs of right lower quadrant, what are the organs of left lower quadrant. So means two lower quadrant, two upper quadrant, and in the middle there is a umbilical line crossing the abdomen from right side to left side of the abdomen, and which is passing through the umbilical area, imaginary line. Just in this way, you can divide this abdomen into four portions. But after that still remains a big structures inside that one. In each quadrant there are big structures living inside that one. So easily understanding, tomorrow I will explain you again in spite of dividing this abdomen into four different sections, you can divide the abdomen into nine different sections. And how we can divide this one, I will tell you tomorrow. I do not want to complicate all this thing. So just remember, the abdomen, it's a big area of our body, and this structure of the abdomen is known as part of the trunk. Upper part is known as chest, the lower part is known as abdomen proper, and abdomen proper has its own two areas inside the muscular structures. Inside the means the outside boundary, just like you could say there are one father. There's one father, and after that he has two sons. And the one father was having a big house, and ultimately he has two sons. And in the house, the outward boundary, which is separating it from the other houses, is the same. But internally, they make a wall that one brother will take right side, one the other brother will take the left side. Younger brother will take this side and lower side, and the bigger brother, elder brother, will take on the upper side. So in this way, internally inside the home, they have divided. And if structurally we say it's a peritoneal coverage, greater sac of peritoneum and lesser sac of peritoneum, which covers the different type of organs. We will again repeat it so that you can remember it easily. Then after that, we will go for the nine different sections of the abdomen. But tomorrow, this lecture will be in Punjabi. So because everybody cannot understand English, what I'm talking about, but even I have more to explain in Punjabi, many other things, because I could not find out the suitable words for those things in English. And in this way, I will explain in Punjabi tomorrow. And after that, it will be in Hindi, so that everybody can understand about the abdomen. What is abdomen? How it is formed? What are the sections? What are the organs living inside it? That one, and then we will describe all the organs. I am your host, Gurdeep Singh Sandhu, homeopathy consultant, and my clinic address is 9701 Sarah N. Court, Dublin, California, 94568. My phone number is 408-687-1899. Anytime, at any age, if you are suffering from any disease and you are not progressing and you want to take a second opinion, you can call me at 408-687-1899, and my email address is homeomedicine, HOMEOMEDICINE @yahoo.com. So you can call me to take a second opinion of your treatment, of your disease, and of your prognosis as well. And even if you want to be treated by a homeopathic scientific approach, then you can call me the same phone number 408-687-1899. And the last request, every time I'm doing that, if you think that these lectures are beneficial and giving you some knowledge and to improve your capability to understand this body and it's a sickness and all that thing, then please convey this message to your nearest and dearest so that they can also understand. They can also join me on Facebook, my Facebook channel, and yeah, they can come with the friend, and I can accept those things, and then they can listen every time. The same way in the YouTube, my YouTube channel, Homeopathic Natural Medicines by Dr. Gurdeep Singh, and you can listen these lectures from the YouTube, and also Sabarang radio station, sabarangstation.com. This is the app of the radio. Android phone, app phones, you can download your app and you can listen all these programs wherever you are traveling, wherever you are going, all over the world. And even if you are traveling, you can listen this radio station. If you tune in on your phones, tune in app, and then anywhere in the world, anytime, 24 hour, you can listen Gurbani in the morning time, then Geet Sangeet and Bhajan, and then after that, filmy geets. All type of entertainment is in this radio station is from 24 hour from day onward, and the morning program starts at 6:30 in the morning when we starts with the Japji Sahib, or on Saturday and Sunday it is Sukhmani Sahib, which you can listen on Saturday and Sunday. And after that, all Rangarang programs, all entertainment programs are running time to time, and in between there is entertaining skits. And at 5 to 6 every day from California Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., I am delivering my lecture in this radio stations. So please join me and increase your knowledge and be healthy, remain healthy. And if ever you fall sick, what you can do for yourself before going to the doctors, all these things I can give you the knowledge on these lectures. Rab Rakha, God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow. It will be in Punjabi lecture. Thank you.